This is Our View, the 100% union voice of the people who serve you, the proud members of the Washington Federation of State Employees. Western State Hospital has been named the most dangerous work site in our state. Injury is a daily occurrence as state employees work with the mentally disabled, some very dangerous. Workers there recently held their Workers' Memorial Day commemoration, and it was made clear that their union is needed to bring about improved safety standards.
On Worker Memorial Day, we will remember and pay tribute to those who have lost their lives on the job or who have been injured or made sick. We call for an end to the unnecessary deaths of our brothers and sisters and action to prevent them. In Washington State, 65 workers died on the job in 2017 or as a result of an occupational illness or disease. There was progress. It was 79 the year before, but we know one death on the job is one too many.
We have more work to do in light of the current administration at the federal level. They have proposed to slash the Department of Labor's budget by 21%, eliminate worker safety, health training programs, eliminate the Chemical Safety Board, and cut job safety research by $135 million. We can continue to fight back by sticking with the only true voice for workers, our union. Staying together and being 100% union, when we stand together with one powerful voice, we can achieve much.
We face assaults. We face scrutiny from government regulators and legislators and news media. We face the changing vision and direction of our managers. Our vision and direction as a union, however, does not change. We are 100% union. As a union family, who are we? We are voice. We are the voice for the mentally ill, who need our services and our advocacy.
That's right.
We are the voice for working families. People who go to work should expect to come home in one piece.
That's right.
We're the voice for safe workplaces all across the nation. We're the voice for community safety. Without us, where would these people be? We are voice. Together, we must raise the standard of care here at Western State Hospital, in the community, and all across the behavioral health system. We know that a union in the workplace raises the standard of professionalism, raises the pay, and raises the quality of care.
We simply cannot and will not let politicians and corporations put workers in danger, drive down wages, take away our right to have a union, and destroy our communities.
A standing room only group of state employees recently filled a room to listen to the director of the Retired Public Employees Council of Washington give a presentation that included a dose of reality of what we face in our pension years. The changes orchestrated by government and corporate interests do not bode well for anyone's anticipated retirement. Those workers represented by a union with a defined pension benefit are fast becoming a small minority.
All right, right now you're seeing articles like this. The government reports are sounding the alarm on retirement crisis. America faces looming retirement crisis if policymakers fail to act. My favorite, retirement crisis. The great 401k experiment has failed for many. Now, I'm bringing your attention to this because what we are facing right now is a huge campaign over the last 20, 30 years to say that 401ks are the way of the future and defined benefit pensions are dead. I'm hearing it amongst our own members, but there is a campaign to undermine the current pension system. And they're saying that 401ks make more sense. And this is part of the crux of the discussion tonight because they don't. And you have to be ready to argue it, because if you don't, then you're allowing that myth to continue. A guy by the name of Ted Benna realized that he wanted the IRS to change their tax code to allow what he had been using of his bonus pay in those 401ks, he wanted to use wages. So he went to the IRS and said, please change your standards so I can also use my wages in these 401k vehicles. The IRS did so around 81. It was implemented soon after. The private sector unions were being blasted and were not able to fight this. And then companies realized that they could provide the defined contribution plan at less of a cost to them. They put the risk on the employees. The risk had been shared. Not only did employees and employers contribute, but the plan was managed between both. The two key differences is that participation in 401ks usually is optional, and while pensions provide a lifetime income, 401ks have no such guaranteed income option. I really like this quote from a professor of finance at the University of California, Berkeley School of Business. I'm not saying defined benefit plans are flawless, but they certainly didn't put as much of the risk and responsibility on the individual.
A Supreme Court decision that will turn public employment in the United States into right-to-work status poses a threat to public services and safety. Here is a Federation member, April, who has worked in the public sector in Arizona a right to work for less state. This system does not serve the public well.
I lived in a right-to-work state. I worked in a right-to-work state for the state. I had coworkers who were walked out, terminated with no notification of why, what reasoning. The prisons were privatized. We have people escaping prison because they're privatized prisons. And people aren't working there for passion. They're not working there because they're hoping to help the community. They're working there because they're getting a paycheck. And that makes all the difference in the world. Not having the union takes away that sense of oneness that we all have and are able to use to muscle through the rough days. You know, I know that my brothers and sisters are behind me. I know that every day I walk into work. And if I didn't have that, it would definitely impact the way that I look at my workday.
The attack on unions and public sector workers is not limited to the United States. It is also underway in most of the leading nations in the world and even in supposedly worker-friendly Europe. Recently, French unions representing teachers, police, firefighters, doctors, transportation workers, and many others turned out for a demonstration against the current government and its attack on their working standards.
It's about the salaries, you know. So the new president of France wants to freeze literally our salaries. We had this small increase last year with the previous government, but now he didn't tell us, and now he's elected, he wants to freeze our salaries. Mostly we're punished. We're punished by this government because when we have a sick leave, it used to be paid, but now the government, the new government, wants to take 1 day off our salaries when we're sick. So that's punishment.
Today it's about civil servants, about public services, and the way this government decided not to treat them as workers as well. And that's why we are here.
And another aspect of of the demonstration mobilization today is about the public service. In schools, they're going to have to be less and less teachers. In primary school, secondary school, there are going to be 2,600 less teachers' work jobs in France. It means that the classes are going to, in the classes are going to be more and more pupils. In Paris, has to get more and more degrees, and at 35 pupils, it's too much.
The working conditions faced by workers not in unions are often worse for women in the workforce. A European Labor Confederation has distributed a video feature in several languages illustrating a major barrier facing working women. Here it is in English.
Okay. No, no problem. Okay, bye-bye. Hello, Sophie speaking. Yes? Okay. Just hold on a second. No. 1 minute, please. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Bye-bye.
This has been Our View, the television voice of the members of the Washington Federation of State Employees. We remind you, when you accept a paycheck for your hard work, you don't give up your rights. Join us again and stay strong.
Well, if Washington became right to work, we'd lose our security, our safety, and our jobs. We lose the options to make choices for ourselves. I know what I need in a contract. I know that this contract, I need help with medical, or I need an increase in pay. Whatever it is that I need, that's my choice. It's not the choice of a politician. They need to be able to hear my voice and hear what I need. Everyone should be 100% union so they can have a voice too. You need to have a voice in your employment. You need to have a voice in your contract. You need to have a voice in your benefits and your pay raises. And without us funding our union, we won't have that support. They won't be able to finance that support. I need my representation, and I will always pay for it. That few dollars out of my pocket, out of my paycheck, is worth every cent if it means that I've got someone who's got my back for my employment.
It's the season for state highway repairs and construction. When driving through a work zone, follow the directions of the signs and flaggers. Slow down, get off the cell phone, and it's not a good time to finish your sandwich. Our highway maintenance workers depend upon your attention and good driving skills. Like you, they want to go home safely from their jobs. Remember, the fines for infraction double in a work zone. A message from the Washington Federation of State Employees, the people who make Washington work.